Okay, guys, I'm going to show you around the PollEverywhere website today and show you how to create a survey and some polls and understand the difference between the two. Let's start out with just some of the example questions that I've come up with. So I've already created my first little grouping here of things, but this is actually a survey. You can see the survey icon. So I can open that up, and there are 6 questions. And so in a survey, all the questions will get grouped together, and so a participant will answer all of 6 questions. It'll be available to them. And so after you create a survey, if you want to know how to get folks into it, you'll have to go to the presentation view, and they will either use a text number to send a text message, or they'll just use a URL to access a website. And so you'll have to activate to make it live. And then, so this is kind of the view you'd want to be in if you're presenting. And so what they would see from their end would be this here. And so they would, answer a question. I'm going to click Fairmont, West Virginia, that's where I'm from, and then they would go to the next question. And so, which of the following submissions is most memorable to you? This question is not like the last one. The last one was a click on the image type of question. This is a ranking question. And so I can click and move them around. So I already submitted this once, so I had to clear it to show you for demonstration purpose. So I'll click on the image, and I can move it up or down based upon the answer that I want to give. And then I can go down and submit my responses. And then I go to the next question. And then so here I have another click the image question. Which of the Australian Shepherd gang would you like to take for a walk? So you can click. This one looks like it has a really fun personality. So that's the one I'm taking for a walk. So you can see that there are a lot of possibilities for questions that help you gauge your audience if you're doing like a session, and if you're working with students, it could help you kind of assess where they're at that particular day as well. And so let's go back to the screen, kind of like your home screen where all your polls are located. They are in the polls tab. So you just click polls. And this is where you'll get a list of all of your polls, your groups. And so let me show you what happens when we take this survey and we convert it to a group. And so now notice how they're within a group, but they're not connected as a survey. So one particular question will be shown at a time. So now whenever someone goes to next, the poll, well, this is presentation view. So notice I can't even bring up audience view this time. So if I click next in the presentation view, it's going to just have me look at my next poll in line. Something neat that is good for every question to take a look at when you're creating questions over here is the configure, test, present menu. So this will show you exactly how people can respond to this particular poll. So it'll show you the web address, it'll show you the text number if they can do it by text. The click images are not usually ones that you can run by text message. Here you can have your restrictions on who you want to be able to respond to the poll when it's live or active. You can adjust how many times a person could submit an answer per poll question. And then you can also test it out for yourself. If you want to just see how folks would be responding to your question, you can do that in the test window. And then present. And so this is how you would present it, and then how you can share it. So you can copy a link and send this to students, for example, if you want to create an entire survey and have them answer like questions, kind of like a test or just a homework assignment. You could create like a survey set of questions and email it to them. And you can also email live result links to, have conversations about some of the questions maybe that people had a more difficult time with. Or if you just want to set up dilemmas and have discussions on particular topics. It's a really good, useful tool for that. Okay, and so notice that these other icons across the top have these little diamonds beside them. These are paid for parts of the app. And so if you want to check out the different versions, and I'm in a higher ed plan, so I'm going to click K-12 plan. So if you're working for K-12, there's a K-12 free plan. And so you get 40 responses per poll for your audience size. You don't get to choose your username. And so up here where mine says Josh Revels 954, that's my assigned username. And so I'd have to go to the $50 per year or higher paid version in order to change this. So you'll notice in a minute when we create a poll how that actually could be a feature that you really would like to have. And so you can embed things into PowerPoint. You can do full screen presentations. The different question types are available to you. Live word clouds, text walls, custom styling, displaying a correct answer. So these are some things that are not available in the free version: reporting, moderation, and then automatic censoring. So it won't let students type in particular words based upon things that have been programmed in as flagged to not be shown. You can have competitions, and you can share polls among professors in the free version. And so there's some interesting things here for the school-wide version, including school-wide events, where you can like put your school logo and thing into your polls, as well as you get support, a person that's designated just to work with your school to kind of help you run things. And you get up to 200 people per poll with that plan. Okay, so let's take a look here at another poll that I created. So this is a word cloud question where you will put in answers through text message, right? So here, a particular group could enter in Josh Rebels 954 as the message that they're sending to this phone number 37607, and that will join you into the poll, and then you will answer with a text message. So if your students are using their cell phones in class, and then you also have the website URL version. But notice that the web address and also the message uses your username to open up polls that you currently have active. And so that's one of the benefits perhaps to getting a paid account, is that you can modify that and change it to whatever you want. It could be Mr. Revel's class or something like that. And so whenever students will text in the responses, which I'm getting my cell phone out right now to do that, you'll see how it will update live based upon student input. So I've clicked, or I've sent in my message, and now it's telling me you've joined Josh Revels' session, Josh Revels 954. When you're done, reply leave to leave. Okay, so now I can put in answers to this question. And so watch how the cloud will change as I put in different answers. Okay, and so you can create a word cloud from your questions. Okay, and so from the presenter view, I could lock this so that no more participants could enter. Once I know who's in the room, I could clear my responses and start all over. So if I'm reusing the question class after class, or I can just combine my class questions together to have one overall word cloud. And then I can also hide the responses. So if I'm having students, just submitting their things before they can see what everyone's posting, I could do that. Visual settings, you can change like how your wall looks. rate at which the answers become available, or how they progress through the particular type of question or type of display format you've selected. Change colors, fonts, voting instructions, title, background. There's a lot of things you can do uh, per question. Okay, so how do you start your own poll? So again, polls, this is the place that you want to be anytime you're wanting to change something. And so if I want to add a question, uh, I could very easily just hit create, or I can, if I have something grouped, I could add an activity to that group. So if I've got like a whole bunch of questions on a particular topic, I might want to group them together. And I could also just easily convert this entire section into a survey if I want. Again, that's something that I might do if I'm sending this link home to students to complete at home, right, as an assignment. And so let's create a new question. Let's add a question to this particular survey that I made. And let's open this up to see more question options. I'm going to collect information from a brainstorm question this time. And so I might have question of how could we redesign our mousetrap car to move faster but travel a shorter distance, right? And so this could really get groups of students to provide feedback in like masses, and could document the process of like engineering design, where they can just throw out ideas and they can pick a particular solution. So, you know, we could reword this as, what ideas do you have for building the solar oven? Okay. And then we can create that. And then once it's created, we can test it out to see how students would respond. And so I have to activate it in order to be able to do that. And so kids will be able to just text in or type in their response. So what ideas do you have? I think we should make the opening have larger surface area, right? The volume of the box should be larger than a shoebox. I don't know. These are just ideas, right? Giving some examples. And then depending on how you configure it to display from the visual settings, you could really get an idea of what students like in particular. And they can upvote you can have particular questions too. After they submit their responses, they can like say, yeah, I like this idea. And so all the ideas that people liked the most would move up to the top of this list. Okay, so that's just a little bit about PollEverywhere. I encourage you guys to get in there and create some really cool polls and get your kids collaborating virtually.